Welcome back to Show Me What I've Been Missing, your pop culture podcast that says, hey, remember that thing? I'm one of your hosts, Elizabeth Stanton. With me is my other host.
Very pissed off, Chris Mack. What's up?
We've got to the episode. We are, for context, we're watching Sex and the City from start to finish. I've seen it a million times. Chris never has. So this is Chris's first time seeing the Post-it episode, the Post-it breakup. And he is furious. We hopped on to start this, and he was like, "I can't eat." I was like, "Save it for the
podcast." I gotta get it out.
So you want to just start?
And even though no, we can't start there because that's just
you're too much. Too soon.
You know what I'm saying? The fact that we have to wait to the end to even talk about it is.
We don't have to. We can shake up our format. Okay.
It just works better that way. It's fine. You know, also it'll give me a chance to calm down, get out of my feels, and look at it objectively, and have a good podcast.
We have to have a good podcast. I was in podcast. Different.
Yeah, no silly goose in this episode.
No silly gooses. We were silly gooses last recording.
Before we get started, fuckers who are watching, like and comment and subscribe right now. Like the video. You only have to. If you made it this far, it's a minute in. You've already invested. You understand that you want to watch it. Like the damn video, right?
Maybe you don't call them fuckers.
No, they're fuckers.
Mm-hmm. So if we're not starting with Carrie, who would you like to start with? Miranda?
No. Well. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm going to say this before we even get started with anybody. This was a good storyline for everybody. Everybody had a nice, good, juicy storyline. And it's kind of hard to pick because, it was nice that all four of them had a pretty decent, moving storyline to really work off for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For the last few episodes, it was Carrie and then maybe one other person. But this one, it's all good.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna let you pick. You start wherever you want to, but we can't do Carrie because I'm not ready to start her.
I feel like I want to go Miranda, Samantha, Charlotte, Carrie.
Perfect.
I think that will build. But like you said, they're all good. This is one.
They're all good this episode. Yeah.
Everybody's got
all good.
Something interesting, genuinely interesting going on. Not like shenanigans and other goofy crap. It
was also too. Everybody's storyline was kind of character building as far as all of the characters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially Miranda's and Charlotte's story.
Yeah. So speaking of starting with Miranda, she is rushing to get out the door when we first see her. She's handed the baby off to Magda, and he starts crying, and she's like, "Oh, boy is fine. He just misses mama." And she feels bad. She's got the mom guilt that, unfortunately, it affects a lot of people, and it's such a hard thing being a working mom. Not that I am one, but I know people who are. I know.
No, but this is the thing though. This is where I kind of feel here's the thing. We got women in the workforce, and this is a great thing. And there needs to be, instead of 6 months, give them at least the first year to maybe come back and decide if they want to come back to work.
Some countries do that.
Some countries do that, but America, we need to figure it out because, listen. The thing about it is it's human nature. You can't fault a woman for getting pregnant. Women get pregnant. That's literally what they're designed to do. So give them a year instead of 6 months. 6 months is not
3
enough
months
time to bond with your baby and do all the things.
Some people only get 3 months. My sister-in-law actually,
you said 3 months?
3. She the place she worked at, I think she works somewhere else now. She had to negotiate for 6 months because she was having twins. And said, "Can I at least get 6 months since there's going to be 2 of them at once?" It was originally only going to be 3 months.
And that's what I mean too, because if you have to, even if it's for a year, even if you have to, I know this is gonna sound bad, but even if you have to reduce their salary by a little bit, what's the big deal? You know what I mean?
Well, this country is just, as much as this country demands women have children, it is not designed to support them when they do so in any way, shape, or form. From the lowest earner to the highest, the way the society and the economy works, it wants you to have them, but it does not give a shit what happens to you once you do. It barely gives a shit what happens when you're pregnant to you either.
Well, here's my thing too. It's like, okay, well then what's the solution? It's like, if you're gonna, instead of punishing women for it, why don't you make the economy better? So then that means only men have to work, and then women can have all the babies and don't have to go to work. And then you won't have to worry about maternity leave. How about that, government? If you want us to have, if you want babies to be flourishing and happening all over the place, why don't you make the economy a livable economy where like men can just work? I don't know. I'm not saying that women should. I'm not saying that, and that's not me saying women shouldn't work. I'm just saying if you're going to punish them for getting pregnant, which is the thing that women do from time to time, then make it so that way they can stay home, and then you won't have these issues. Either that, or give them at least a year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it's wages need to go up across the board for everybody, men, women, pregnant, not pregnant, doesn't matter. It's, you know, nationalized healthcare would be nice because that would take burden off of, you know, if your baby gets sick, your kids get sick, daycare at you know, companies and places would be helpful, because then, hey, maybe you don't have to go as far to see the baby, because she has to leave the baby at home with Magda all the time. If her lawyer's office had daycare at it or nearby, she could see the kiddo way more often, takes the burden off of that. It's hard, and it's fun. It's hard too, because, you know, and this is not a knock against Steve and the show or men in general, but because so much mom pressure is put on women, or so much parenting pressure, I should say, there tends to be more guilt. I'm not saying dads never feel guilty about missing kids stuff at all, but because the bulk of the childcare by default tends to fall on women, they're also made to feel guiltier. And like finding the balance, which is the whole issue Miranda's facing this episode, finding the balance is like the trickiest part. And it's expected, it's expected that men will miss things, though, which is bad. That's not good. If you're constantly missing games or missing out on childcare, that's bad as a father to a child as well. Like, but it's just sort of like, that's the default, is, and women somehow have to be at everything everywhere all at once, which is also not sustainable. None of it's sustainable for man, woman, or child. It's a terrible system. But
we just gotta go back. I mean, honestly, the best way to raise a child is to go back to fucking caveman days where everybody lived in the cave, and that was it.
Takes them,
you know what I mean? There was no
everyone jokes, oh, it takes a village. It does. That's the other problem, is there's no community sense. Like, you know, the fact that she's hired Magda as basically a grandma caretaker is a huge deal, because unfortunately Miranda doesn't have her own mom to do that. But even if she did, the mom lives out of town. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's almost too complex to unpack.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, I'm saying it. Well, it's just also too, like, that's kind of the good thing. I mean, because you're right, it does take a village, but that is kind of the thing about religion, because you do kind of have that village. Like, religion kind of works because, like, you do kind of get that village with people.
For sure, yeah.
You know, yes, maybe some of the views are a little twisted when it comes to women and childcare and things like that. And sure, we'll give you that, but you do have at least like that village, because there's always somebody there to help. You know, you call on somebody else in the congregation to be like, "Hey, can you watch my kid for a little bit?" and stuff like that. And that is kind of missing outside just like a regular community. Like, if you know, if you're not in the religious community, like, you know, other than family, that's, and some, or even in family, some that, you know, you don't really have that. It all depends on what kind of family you have, you know.
And or just neighbors or neighborhood. Like, Miranda probably doesn't know any of her neighbors and couldn't be like, you know, hey, can you?
Well, she knows the mom. She knows the one
mom.
She knows the moms. She only knew the one. She only really like got to know the one mom. So.
Yeah. And plus, I would imagine that's an expensive building Miranda lives in. I would imagine that woman probably works, and maybe a lot of the other women in the building do too. It's tricky. There's really not a huge amount of wins, but and Miranda gets shit for it at work. So the next time we see her, she's coming in late to a work meeting, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. is this about the such and such brief? And they're like, it's actually, you've been late a lot, you're struggling with your caseload. And she's like, well, I haven't been that late. And then this one younger woman's like, actually, you were late this time and this time and this time and this time. And I love Miranda being like, thanks for having my back. Because truly, you know, I know it's a competitive environment, but like, talk about women not supporting women. What the fuck?
Listen, we all know that y'all always talk about woman power, but secretly women hate each other. Okay, let's be honest. You hate each other. Y'all really do.
In a competitive situation like that, it gets so nasty. Like it's terrible. Like it's terrible because that girl is probably clearly gunning for whatever position Miranda has, you know, or to be on the ladder to the position Miranda has. But
Miranda's a partner, right?
But so I believe she did. She is partner.
So she's probably trying to be a partner too, and she's probably hoping that Miranda is like just leaves, and then she can be like, "Let me slip in there," which she may get that because what happens towards the end of her story.
Yeah, it's I feel bad in this scene though. You know, she's like, well, it won't be a problem anymore. I am doing great on that legal brief, by the way. Where I'm doing terrible is at home. And then she goes, and by the way, when my mom died, I was back in the office on Monday, which is a pretty solid mic drop on that front, I won't lie. Because
it kind of is, yeah. She had to set them straight one time. I was like,
I didn't go back to work right away. And I'm a little misindustrious, busy bee as well, but even I was like, I can't, I need a break.
Yeah, that'd be a hard one to just like come back to after that. Yeah, that's a hard one. So the fact that she was back in the office on Monday,
and I liked all my coworkers. I really bonded with all those guys. I loved them, but you know, you still gotta take some time.
Yeah. Sure.
And it sucks because she gets home from like that day of work and the baby's already in bed and asleep, and when there's one thing you can't mess with, it's a baby's sleep schedule. You gotta stick to it. So she just goes back to work.
That's yeah.
And then after she's talking with Carrie in a scene we will get to, you know, Magda brings Brady out and leaves for the day, and Brady's crying then. And Carrie's like, oh, what's wrong? And she's like, oh, it's fine. He just misses his mom, aka Magda, because I'm always gone at work. But then that's kind of breaks her in that moment. And the next time she's at work, she says to her boss, she's like, things are not working out. I can't, you know, we both know it's not working the way it needs to. So I need to cut back to 50 hours a week, 55 tops. She's still going to do like 10-hour days, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, I think she's working a lot.
I think she was working at least 60 hours a week.
Probably more than that.
Probably more.
Really?
Yeah, because she was even working at home, you know, after the baby was in bed, she was continuing to work.
Right.
And then later they show her she's tucking Brady in for the night. And, you know, she knows there'll still be times where she won't always be able to be there. But I do like that she has the little baby mobile and there's little pictures of her so he can always look up and see his mom. That's really sweet.
Yeah. That was really cute. Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, oh, girl, if she's competing for Miranda's spot, she may get it because with her reducing her hours,
even just a little, yeah.
But that's what I like, because Miranda's a partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's a partner. That means her workload is not like crazy. Like usually partners only work with like higher value clients.
Yeah, but you're still doing lots of hours and meetings, dinners, and all that kind of stuff.
But what I mean by that is like if they leave, even if they and that's what I mean is like they could just have her to like consult on cases instead of actually like running cases. You know what I mean? And like I'm sure she can delegate her work to like too capable other lawyers in the firm, you know what I mean? And she consult and be like, here's my advice, here's what I do, which is what I'm saying, to go back to what I said earlier, like they could give her a year off to where she could just consult on cases until at least a year is up, and then she can come back to the office and be working. That's just me. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how law offices work, so I may be talking out of my fucking ass right now, but I'm pretty sure you could have her. I mean, because this is also, we're talking in a day and age where, you know, she has a cell phone, she can be, you know, there's computers, there's internet, like this ain't 1942, this is early 2000s, so that she could definitely consult on a bunch of cases and never have to really go into the office.
That would be nice, but No such luck.
Yeah. Oh well, she got to figure that. I mean,
Yeah, she
if she
gotta
was,
work.
yeah, it'll work. But here's the thing: what's gonna come. Eventually, at some point, reality is gonna set in, and the boss is just gonna be like, "Well, she can't work enough, so we're gonna have to let her go." But how do you get rid of a partner?
I don't know, actually. But
well, she has a good. I mean, as a partner, she's gonna have a nice severance package. So if they do get rid of her,
the old
it's gonna
golden
cost them more than keeping her. I tell you that.
The old golden parachute.
Mm-hmm. Especially with a kid too, you got to consider into that. Yeah, it's probably cheaper, literally, to keep her on staff than to let her go.
Sometimes, yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
So that's Miranda's story. Very real,
Bang, bang.
very hard, but very true.
Yeah.
And we move on to Samantha and Smith.
Oh, by the way, before we do get into that, I just want to say I'm kind of glad that a show like this kind of shows that side because,
for sure,
a lot of TV, especially nowadays, they make it seem like it's just like it's so easy to bounce. But we kind of got to show, like, we got to stop like trying to like fantasy or what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? Glamorize. Thank you. That like the work, the career woman having it all, having a kid, and all this other stuff. Because like I'm not saying you can't have it all, but I'm just saying it comes with a very high cost. Meaning it's going to be very stressful. It's going to be very sad, and you're going to miss some things. So, and I'm glad a show like this.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because definitely at this time it was sort of like that kind of high-powered woman either like never had kids or was either like miraculously making it to stuff and never seemed to be working, even though they're like, oh, they're like an architect or whatever fancy, they're a magazine employee.
Right.
And yeah, this is probably, I don't know if it's been documented, but this is definitely one of the earlier shows to really like grapple with, being a working mom in like a high pressure situation. Not obviously super in depth, but just even acknowledging like, oh my God, yeah, you like some of the women who were watching the show at the time were moms who worked and probably felt that exact same like, oh my God, I'm missing out on things. Especially when he's a baby. That's like so many firsts and so many little things. And it's a hard thing, like we said. This economy in this country is not designed to support any of it. Sucks.
Anyway, sorry about that.
No, I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm a bad lady for not mentioning it.
You're a bad lady.
I'm a
bad woman. Lost points.
Those my woman points. So yeah, on to Samantha and Smith. Samantha has managed to get him ad deal as the Absolut Vodka Hunk, which I think he was already this actor was already that model.
Oh, is that right?
I believe he was. I don't think it was because of the show.
Right.
Or it like coincided, like, because campaigns and casting happened so far in advance that by the time the show was on, he was already the Absolut Vodka guy. I feel like somebody I know had this picture up somewhere. Is it college?
I bet.
But he's on a giant billboard and he is naked with the vodka bottle basically standing in for his dick. You don't see it obviously, but sometimes a cigar is not a cigar.
It's a good picture. I mean,
he looks
as far as an ad goes, it does exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like a lot of attention, and I mean, kudos to Samantha, man. Like she's good at her job. God damn it, like y'all need to give her props. That's
great at her job.
Good, and he's getting this shit for free. Getting it for free. Like, you know how much? Like her last boss was a fucking billionaire, and he barely could afford her. And you're getting this for free, my guy.
But he's a little bashful about his dick being 3 stories tall, as he says. But she's like, that's the way God and Madison Avenue intended it, which cracks me up. So they meet at a bar later to have some drinks, and there's already like an Absolut Hunk like vodka drink that's I don't know how popular it is, but like liquor companies push like a signature cocktail, so I'm sure that's being pushed at like these bars.
Oh yeah.
But he's embarrassed. He's like, my sober friends say, how could I'm, they're mad I'm working for a liquor company. He's like, my acting class thinks I'm a sellout, and his mom is worried about his grandma seeing the ad in like a magazine or something. And she goes, drunks, nobodies, and prudes. Like, what they think doesn't really matter.
I'm not gonna lie, like,
she's totally right.
okay.
Especially the acting class people, like, shut the fuck up.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, the acting class, they just pissed off. Yeah, they're just pissed off. Yeah, because here's the thing: if it was any of them, they'd all be. If any of them had the opportunity, they would do it. They would be on that fucking, and they wouldn't give a shit about what anybody else says. And the only, and like, moms and stuff like that. Like, I understand, maybe you don't want to see, but it's not like he's like actually showing nudity. Yeah. Also, how you sitting there? Hold on. And my thing is too, dudes over here tripping about his mom and grandma being worried about seeing his dick. You just did a full frontal nudity play, sir. Yeah. You just did a full frontal nudity play like weeks ago, and it was in the papers, and people talked about it. They knew, like, you showed hundreds of women your dick, bro. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's true. Like, that's a really good point.
How quickly did you forget?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're telling me, and also too, like, you're telling me that your mom didn't show up to this fucking play? You didn't invite your mom to the play? She didn't come to see you? Because I'm pretty sure she did. Maybe,
but who knows? Maybe mom can't afford to fly out there. There's all the way in Seattle, apparently.
Well, either way, she knew that you were doing a play where you're showing your dick and balls because.
But he might have been lying. Sometimes people don't always tell mom everything they do in New York,
Moms know. They know everything. They know. They find out.
They do know everything.
They find out.
100%.
They know.
They know.
Because I mean, that's the thing too. It's like, unless he was just like, oh yeah, I'm still catering. I don't have any acting. Like, if he didn't tell her anything that he didn't have any jobs, then maybe. But I don't know. He seems like the kind of person who definitely like, oh, I gotta play, mom. He definitely told her.
Yeah. And sorry, grandmas when grandmas get to be like 94, like he says, they kind of stop giving a fuck. So she probably is like giggling her head off about like, that's my grandson's vodka penis or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter.
Again, it's an artistic photo. It's not even like it's like completely, it's not like it's in Hustler where, say you see like half a ball hanging out the side of the bottle or something like that. Like, he's completely covered. It's pretty classy, actually.
Yeah. And but he also adds he's frustrated because he's like, I'm not getting any auditions or anything else out of it. And a gay guy notices him at the bar, and he's like, are you the Absolut Hunk? He's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, my friends and I all love you. And then he goes back to his group of friends, and Samantha's like, see, first come the gays, then the girls, then the industry. And that's like, honestly, very, very true about so many things.
Yeah.
Because it's
very true. That's what I was like, clearly he doesn't know what the fuck is going on in his own business, because like the fact that he's tripping about that is like, what is a bunch of gay guys gonna do for me? It's like, everything. Literally will start your career. They will literally put you on the map.
Because no joke, so much of pop culture, basically across the board, usually start like, especially like slang or different things like that, starts in the gay community, usually with Black gay folks or LGBTQIA plus. Tends to start there, then gets to the white gay community, then gets to girls, like usually teen or early 20s girls, and then becomes a pop culture thing, and it gets erased at the different levels all the way back. But like I'm not the first to point it out by any means, but it like your favorite slang words now, like kiki or what, slay, all that stuff all starts way back with Black LGBTQ folks most of the time, and then works its way to your mom giggling about it. I think
the line goes Black women, then Black gays, and then white gays, and then women, and the rest of the world.
Pretty much.
That's the kind of the ladder it goes out. So like, I guess you could have like, unfortunately, I don't know how many, in Manhattan there are, what I'm saying, Black women. I don't know the population of it and stuff like that, but like, I'm pretty sure they were talking about it, what I mean? Sure. Like, so either way, but that's what I'm saying, like, dude was like tripping. And here's the thing, I was gonna go back to even say, I know he was tripping on the like I kind of feel him like as far as his sober people like AA
Yeah,
people
that's
like I
understandable.
understand him being that, but like everybody
Everybody
else, your
else,
actor friends,
yeah,
actor friends, you really pissed off? Come on.
yeah.
Oh, you sold out. It's like, all right, cool. Well, when you're still stuck in this class paying $300 a month and doing nothing, you know what I'm saying? Struggling to
Yeah.
make this payment and living in a fucking shoebox in New York, I'll be out here making money and having a career,
Yeah.
the thing that we all dream about. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, sometimes people are like, "Oh, yeah, it's art and integrity." I actually got a way back when I first moved here. I was in like a writer group, and I never did read the book, and that's probably why I'm not selling TV shows just now. But the guys from Reno 911, Thomas Lennon and Robert Ben Grant, I think is his name. They
Yeah.
wrote like the Night at the Museum movies and other
Oh, no.
other mainstream stuff, and that pays for them to do Reno 911 and all those other kind of things. And they wrote a whole book. Like I said, I foolishly didn't. I bought it, but never ended up reading it because I did other work and got sidetracked. But they're kind of the whole point of the book was like, write a formulaic thing. It's fine. Sell that thing. You can do the things you want to do. And I brought it up in this writer group, and boy, I was the only girl, just for the record. Boy, did all the guys in that group be like, well, that's, how you should, that's that good to do, And I kind of said, like, well, even if you write the greatest thing, but it never leaves your basement, what's the point? No one ever sees it or hears it or reads it. Like, what's the point? You just did it for yourself, which is not, you can do that too, but like if you want it to be done, like I was like, I think they got a point, and they were like, well, they're comedians too, so of course they're better at selling like a project, and I was like, all right, because
Yeah, but I think bills got to get paid. Fuck all the. I mean,
bills
like
gotta get paid,
we all
man.
got.
Like,
We gotta get paid, man. Yeah, people need to start. Listen, you can't be an artist the entire time. Like most of those people who are always an artist never sell out a little bit or
family
like
money.
never. Do something about
Yeah.
they get either family money or they never make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they have their integrity. It's like, all right, well, cool. Die with your integrity, but
Yeah.
some people like to eat food when
Integrity
they're
doesn't keep the
hungry.
lights on.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you keep that artistic integrity, but when you never make any kind of money and you're sitting there fucking working your ass off for years and nothing becomes of it, you're gonna look back and be like, maybe I should have,
Yeah.
painted that fucking picture of the house or some shit like that with
Yeah,
a rich guy.
or written that, like, ad project or whatever. Because
Right.
yeah, like, well, the last episode we just talked about, I mean, we mentioned Daniel Radcliffe offhand. Slightly different circumstances, but as a kid, he's in Harry Potter and he makes all this money off Harry Potter. He now does literally whatever he wants. He does every weird project he likes that comes his way, like the Weird Al biopic and stuff like that. And I feel like people are like, well, he was in Harry Potter, he should be like trying to be in a Marvel movie, or he should be doing that. He doesn't need to do the next thing. He can do all the creative, weird, bizarro things he wants,
Those, the fact
anytime
that
he
he did those,
wants.
he's set for life. You
Yeah.
don't have to do a motherfucking, just like fucking, and Elijah Wood's doing the same thing. He's like
Yeah.
doing little like weird projects or then like weird off-brand TV shows or shit. He's like, I get Lord of the Rings. I'm good. We good.
And they're so happy. They're so visibly happy in interviews.
Yeah.
Like they're unburdened. Yeah, talking about unburdened and unbothered. And obviously, who wouldn't be with all that money and stuff like that? But the point is, like, artistic integrity obviously has its merits. It's good. You don't want to be like a total sellout, a total shill,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, because you'll end up being miserable doing that too if you truthfully be a certain. Right.
But
At
if
the
you
same
can,
token,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I was say, but like, if you can find like the middle ground of like you're getting bills paid, but it's almost sort of the parallel they say is like it is better to work to live than live to work. And some people, some people live to work and really like the thing they do, but then they don't ever do anything in their off time. And then other people are just like, I'm just here to punch in 9 to 5. I have hobbies and shit I like to do outside of work that don't, do not matter, or that I just work to fund. Basically.
Yeah, that's more important.
Yeah.
No, that's the truth, and that's the thing too. Like, I mean, one of the greatest quotes that I have is, or I've ever heard, was, "We do what we must do to do what we want to do."
Yeah,
and that's in this business. Like, sometimes you got to say. I mean, you think all these motherfuckers who doing Marvel that's all they want to do? No, course
No,
not.
no.
But they doing that shit so they can go and do like little side projects and do little side movies or like develop their own, make that money so they can like put that money into projects that they want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I always bring up a joke, but it's true. Like I like obviously as everyone knows I love Hugh Jackman on the show. And he did all the X-Men stuff forever, but then he bankrolled and produced The Greatest Showman. He had that on like, working for 10 years to get it made because he's like,
he probably wanted to do that before he did Wolverine.
He absolutely
but he was like,
wanted to do that. I'm telling you, every time I watch Greatest Showman when it gets on TV or whatever, and like the first intro song when he's doing like his little ringmaster thing, and just any of the other like happier moments in the movie where he's singing and dancing and he's all smiley, I was like, that's the happiest motherfucker I've ever seen. Look how he's smiling. He's so thrilled. Like same thing. Got to see him on Broadway and the Music Man stuff. He couldn't looked happy as a little clam up there. Like, you think, look, did he have a terrible time being Wolverine? Probably not, but, it's clear what he truly, truly loves, which is musical theater.
I mean, he probably didn't have a terrible time, but he also probably didn't want to play Wolverine for 17 fucking years. You know what I mean? Like,
he probably was like,
do a few movies, the first like 3 X-Men, and then like get for the project, and that shit just kept throwing the shit at him. You know what I mean?
Because he's a good actor too, and so like the good like the non-Wolverine shit he's done gets kind of buried and overshadowed. Like I haven't seen the Prisoners movie yet that he did with Jake Gyllenhaal, and I've heard it's fantastic and everybody's amazing, and I think he kind of gets ignored as like being a good actor because they're like, all right, Wolverine, sick, cool. Like The Prestige is one of my favorite movies. I love The Prestige, and he's so fantastic in it.
If you do compare his acting to Wolverine, he was a good Wolverine. Like that's why he played the role for 17 years.
Everyone likes him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how many times has fucking Spider-Man been recasted? Yeah. How many times has Batman been recasted? How many times has Wolverine been recasted? 0, son. Yeah. Always Hugh Jackman. To the point where he's coming back to do it again in the fucking Deadpool movie. Like they won't let him go. That's how good he is. So give him his props.
Yeah. But back to the show, and speaking of props, Smith and Samantha are out on the street and they see like a graffiti bus ad that says like "absolute asshole" on it. Which makes me laugh.
Another thing too, because Samantha says something, she's like, "Look, if you're gonna be in this business, you need to develop a thick skin.
Yeah, toughen the fuck up.
Dude is a bitch right now. Like my motherfucker, like you really are kind of like you, because like it sounds like he really didn't he didn't really understand what he was really getting into, because if you're trying this hard because you're worried about what people think, then this is the wrong business to be in, sir. Wrong business.
Yeah.
You thought you were just gonna do some play, and that's the thing too. Like you just did a play. You telling me you didn't read no reviews on that play? Like shit,
everybody does. Come on.
Fucking grab your balls and get in it.
And she points out, and it's a little related to their relationship because they see the thing and he's like, I'm gonna go, like I don't know where he's gonna go exactly, but she's like, all right, so there's a bump in the road and you're just gonna bail? Like, yeah, this is like the first bump in the road, this is kind of their first, well, not really first fight or anything like that, because they're not fighting really, but like, it's a little iffy. And she does a whole like happy face, frowny face thing with Carrie, which we'll get to. Yeah. But she finds in this scene that she's frowning about the relationship. But then she's saved when a pack of girls from like a private school spots him on the street and is like, oh my God, it's the Absolut Hunk. And they all mob around him, screaming like he's the Beatles. Yeah. And then sure enough, a week later, Gus Van Sant, who did, Good Will Hunting, casts him in his new movie about like a model junkie.
Not only did he cast him, I mean, he didn't have to audition. He offered him the role.
Yeah, offered, which is a big deal.
The role. It's a huge deal. Yeah. In a Gus Van Sant movie, get the fuck out. But first of all, to even just be offered roles means that you made like you got some status on you as an actor. Yeah. And the fact that you just now being discovered by somebody and they're offering you roles, bro. He ain't ready for this. He ain't ready for this. You Samantha, think Samantha, he ain't ready. He ain't ready. He's not ready for the next level.
Yeah. You think Gus saw the play?
You know what? Gus would he would watch a play like that. Like,
yeah,
honestly,
it's like a whole avant-garde abstract thing.
Yeah. I mean, if he wasn't actually at the play, he knows somebody that was, and maybe they told him about it. Yeah, that's definitely up his alley for sure.
Yeah,
right up his alley.
So that things end happily there for Smith and Samantha. So let's move on to our girl Charlotte. So happy. This is such a great sequence of events.
Man, okay, hang on. Ooh, okay, hang on 1 second. I'm trying to process my emotions. I'm like, do we end our podcast? Like that's what I'm saying.
Do we end on a high note or a low note?
Yeah. What do you think? Should we reverse the order? Do Carrie and then?
Well, Carrie's is such a big deal, and I will say it will dovetail nicely with the next episode.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about our girl.
Yeah, because this is a big moment for Charlotte, but the post-it is the bigger deal at the end of the day for the thing. Yeah, I know.
Okay, first of all, we can't say post-it no more on this podcast. I don't want to hear the word post-it. I lose my shit. Continue. I'm sorry.
Continue. We'll get there. Save it. Charlotte, true to her word, Charlotte is volunteering at a synagogue event. Part of their church ladies, synagogue ladies, whatever you want to call them. And there's all, and they all. Sorry.
She's like, it was like a Jewish sisterhood.
Yeah, like the Sisterhood Society or something like that.
Yes, thank you. Sisterhood Society. Jewish Sisterhood Society.
And there's all these older ladies, and they're like, I have a son, I have 2 sons, I have all these, they all want their sons to marry Charlotte. They want to do all this matchmaking with her. And they're like practically fighting over her.
I mean, that's kind of, that's actually from what I talked to somebody about it. Yeah, that's actually kind of what happens to single women in the church. Like as soon as you become single, you're basically on the auction block. It's like, hey, I got a son. Hey, I got a son. Hey, I got 2 sons. I got a nephew. Like it's everybody.
I gotta start going to church.
It's immediately like you're going on there. You're in there.
I gotta start going to a temple, to a church, something. Matchmaking.
I mean, listen, it's better than the apps. You know what I mean? Like,
it is.
You might have to go on a few bad dates, but like it's still better than the apps. You know what I mean? It's still better.
So Charlotte does go on a date with a guy who is a dullard. He's lame, and it makes her end up crashing Carrie's date because she sees Carrie and Berger at the restaurant and like zips over and she's like, call me and tell me something bad happened and I'll bail on this guy and then come hang out with you. And they're like, okay, sure. And she does. And I don't know if I think we should I'm going to stop it there with Charlotte at the dinner. Charlotte ends up leaving this dinner with Carrie and Berger because things get really awkward between Carrie and Berger. And Charlotte's like, this is a terrible date.
I got a perfect segue to get away from that because I have a question for you.
Yes.
Have you ever done the fake emergency phone call for a date?
No, I haven't, but I've done like routine texting and I've done the like, hello friends, this is the man according to the dating profile that we are going on the date with. If I do not report back in about like 24 to 48 hours, send out the search party. This is the one who did it. Like the security text.
Man, that honestly, okay. And I'm not gonna lie, that hurts my ego more than like I'd rather the fake emergency than to be like, this guy's a murderer.
No. It's you send it out, but you send it out preemptively. You're just
I know, but
you're
I'm just
telling
saying,
someone where you are.
If I found out that that's how you felt that I might be, you know what I'm saying? Like I know you should do that with every date you go on, no matter what the person looks like. I understand it's a safety thing, but I'm just saying, like, if you're pointing to me and you're like, that's when you feel in your body that like he might be a serial killer, that would hurt my ego.
No, it's not that you feel it in your body.
Be boring, a serial killer, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
It's not that I automatically assume. Well, I guess I am automatically assuming it's just so dangerous to be a lady. I'm sorry, it's just a security measure.
I get it. No,
do not take. What I'm trying to say is, don't take it personal.
No, I'm 100% behind it. I'm just saying, if I had my choices, I'd rather you get a fake. I'd rather be boring than a serial killer. That's just me. You know what I mean? Like some people are built different. Some people want to be a serial killer that seems mysterious. I'm not one of them. Okay, I don't need.
I did go on a date with someone, and that topic came up, and he was like, I think it is kind of like, he was kind of like, it's kind of offensive, and I was like, well, I think guys should do it too. You should probably tell somebody where you are with a stranger, regardless of your gender. I think it's really simple.
No, it's smart. It's just smart. No, it's just totally smart. And no, I was just wondering if you ever did that on a date, like, or has it happened to you on a date?
No, not to my knowledge. It has not happened to me on a date, and I've never done it. If anything, I stay too long, even if I don't like the person that much.
I knew you were gonna say that. I was like, I know you would say. I know you'd see it through. I know you'd see it through. Fucking, I'm a Midwestern girl. I'm not. I can't be rude.
Can't be rude.
I'm gonna stay here. I'm out of my fucking mind board. I know you would do that. I fucking knew it.
I went to a Match.com event with a friend, and she was already like engaged, but she was like, "I'll wing woman with you." And I ended up talking to a guy who I didn't really like, but somehow we ended up all getting froyo together. And she was like, "I thought you like wanted to keep talking to him." I was like, "No." And she's like, what the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know. I didn't know how to like disengage." Like this is how weird it was getting, was somehow the film The Serpent and the Rainbow came up, or I should say I brought it up. Have you ever seen that movie?
I've never seen it. I've heard of it, but I mean,
Bill Pullman.
No, I have.
Bill Pullman gets a spike driven through his dick in the movie.
Yeah. I have seen that movie.
I mean, also, kudos to that guy for not being freaked out that I brought that up, because I went ahead and described what the movie was about, including that. It's about like.
Well, I'm just curious of like what the conversation led to
I wish I could remember the full context, but I told my friend after the fact, I was like, I was like, I guess good on him, because I feel like a lot of guys would be a little weirded out if I was like, and then in the movie, bam, spike through his dick.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, I gotta learn to bail sooner, frankly, but there you are.
You know what? I mean, I don't know if you ever seen How I Met Your Mother. Do you remember Barney Stinson had the lemon law for dating?
Oh yeah. I can't remember the whole like.
So basically, it was just like basically the premise was 10 minutes into the date, if you're not feeling it, you can just be like, lemon law, I'm out of here. I honestly think that's how dating should be. It's like, yes, I know it's a whole production that we all get together, but I think within the first hour, if within the first hour you're not feeling anything, just be out.
Yeah.
There's no longer time needed to be like, hey, they're not gonna say anything or do anything that's gonna like change your mind about them. I think a good hour.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's a fair like.
That's fair.
Yeah, because like this guy that
egos.
Yeah. Have you guys don't? Sorry, your thing is like kind of.
Oh. There we go. Now we're back. Are we back?
Now we're back. Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
You're good.
Yeah. I was gonna say it might hurt some egos, but I think at least an hour. Yeah. An hour is good enough to you had conversation by then, and you know what's gonna be.
Do guys ever do like the yo, bro, bail me out of this if I call you or text you? I feel like they don't.
You know, there probably are guys that do that, but I imagine it's probably like fucking stockbrokers. Those are probably like the only people that would do that, because they're always like kind of busy, like high power lawyers or some shit like that. You know what I mean? But like normal dudes or whatever, not really. Like
I do feel like
we're too afraid to hurt girls' feelings. Most good dudes are too afraid to hurt women's feelings. That's why that's why ghosting. Like I'm pretty sure guys invented ghosting because we're like, oh no, we don't want to hurt his feelings.
We're gonna be,
so like talking.
Yeah. I've done my share of ghosting though. It's all good.
Yeah. No, guys are too. No, we're too. I mean, maybe like older, maybe like in a different generation. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like older men. You know what I'm saying? But like at least.
But I feel like
shit like that.
Yeah, I feel like girls tend to do the like, abort, like, contingency plan, get me out of here, like, SEAL Team 6 me out of this fucking nightmare. I gotta go.
more than likely, it's probably if anybody has ever done the fake emergency call, it's probably definitely more women for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Charlotte bails on that date and on the Carrie Burger situation. We'll get to there. And she goes on another lame date with one of the synagogue guys, and he's like, I'm gay, right? Like my mom just hasn't my mom doesn't get it yet, and like I'm just not whatever. Like
it's so funny.
And like Charlotte's totally fine. She's like, oh yeah, I kind of figured, and I do laugh. She's like, yeah, what's she gonna say?
Yeah, she knew what was up. I mean, honestly, he was maybe a slightly more masculine than Mario Cantone's character,
but just barely,
yeah. He was just barely to begin with, so she probably knew. She was like, "What's going on here? Why am I on this date with a gay man?"
But they do see Smith's Absolut Hunk ad, and the guy's like, "Oh, that's more my type," and she's like, "Oh, I know him," and he's like, "Oh my god, could we meet him?" And she's like, "Well, he is straight," and he goes, "Oh, me and my brother are gonna be so disappointed. We're so obsessed with him." So that means both ladies' sons are gay, and she doesn't know it.
Dude, that's so wild to me because I know people who like both siblings are gay. Like one is, I know, I have friends that one is a lesbian and the brother is gay, and I was like, man, like, hey, listen, it happens sometimes, like, you know what I mean? But so no, I just think it's funny because it's like older people, in our families is it's like you can tell them night and day, like I am gay, I like men, and they like, nah, I don't believe you. It's just a phase.
Yeah, it's just gonna change.
You'll get over it. You haven't found the right girl yet. It's like, no, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. That's not.
I'm not a confirmed bachelor. I'm gay.
Right. Yeah. Shit, it's so funny.
Because after that, she gets accosted at temple again by this other lady she's like, "You're going out with gay dudes and you won't go out with my son David? He's great." And she shows him a picture and he's handsome and everything.
Yeah.
And they're gonna meet at the next like singles mixer at the temple.
Right.
So she does, and he's like fine and nice, and she just misses Harry too much. So it's really been like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks at this point. She's still barely
I'm going to say a month at this point. That's how long I'm going to give it. Is a month at this point.
Since they broke up. All those wounds are still fresh. And she's like, "Hey, you're really nice, but I'm just not ready to date." And he's like, "All right, no worries. You want to go have sex?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Okay, cool." And he leaves. Like, good on him.
He wasn't weird about it. He wasn't harassing her or anything. You know what I'm saying? He was doing his best. He was charming her and stuff like that. He wasn't like a bad dude.
No,
and he's good looking and everything. Like,
if
this was like 6 months ago, she would have been like, "Hell yeah, let's get it." But like,
but now she's still hung up on Harry. And but then she hears two women at the thing say, "Oh, the only cute guy left, all that's left are the fatties and the baldies." And Charlotte is like, hope against hope that one of the baldies is her baldy. And it is. Harry's there.
I was too. I was hoping, I was like, please be there, Harry. Please be there. Are we going to see Harry in the crowd?
He's there at the mixer and he goes, "Of all the synagogues and all the cities," a little Casablanca reference for you. And she's like, "I miss you. Being away made me realize how much I love you." And she's like, "I don't care if you marry me. I just want to be with you." Which is a big deal for Charlotte to say, for Miss Marriage to say.
I'm not going to lie. I was a little worried. I was like, she's going to see him. And he's going to be with like another girl. And I was going to be like, no.
Oh, that would have broke my heart.
Oh. My heart would have shattered. Million feet. It would have turned into, it just would have turned into sand. It wouldn't even shatter. Just gone. Just gone.
And she's like, "Can can you forgive me or just even ask me out again?" And he says, "That's not good enough." And you go, "Oh no." But then he gets down on one knee and proposes. Oh, I love it. I love them so much. They were so madly in love with each other.
I got nothing else to say on it. Yeah. I love this moment. It was the best. I was very much rooting for them to get back together. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, cool. Like, I'm with it. Because I was thinking the same thing. Like, when she was on a date with David, the good-looking Jewish man, I was like, I mean, yeah, he's good looking and stuff like that, but I kind of wanted to get back with Harry. It's like, They're cute, man.
They're just it's an opposites attract thing with all his personality stuff, and it's so great. And I love the punchline of the scene though, the two women who are like, I am so coming back to this thing next week. they watch a full ass proposal go down. I'd be like, yeah, I'm coming back. like well, fingers crossed that happens again.
Yeah, for real. Well, it's like also too, like it's kind of funny too, because I think seeing that too kind of changed their minds, because they were, like, before they were like, oh, it's only,
baldies and fatties,
and stuff like that. But it's like, well,
Baldy's proposing, and and he's not that bad looking a dude to begin with. He just doesn't have hair or whatever. Yeah, he's a good looking guy.
But here's the thing: to some women, it's a big problem.
I won't lie, I like hair. I'm a hair girl.
It's a big problem. It's a big problem for some. That's why I'm glad I'm 35 with still a nice, strong hairline. Cause I couldn't imagine trying to be single right now in the fucking world of dating with a bald.
I mean, some women like the shaved or the bald. It's not. I want to.
Not for my head. My head's too small to pull that off. It's too small. It doesn't look like it because I got a hoodie on, but trust me, this head with no hair, tiny. Doesn't work.
When I had to shave my head for chemo, people were like, well, you have a good head shape. I was like, I wish I didn't fucking know that, but okay. Thank you. I have a big old noggin though, but I do, I like hair.
Big or like round, nice big and round heads. If you got a small head, you just look like a milk dud.
And I have watched like too many like oldie romance movies or novels or whatever, and I want to put my hands through the hair. I want to do it. Makes me happy. Grab onto something.
Yeah, that's it. For a lot of women, that can be a deal breaker. So I kind of understand.
Girls can be dirty about hair too. They'll like, oh, she's got pigtails. It's handlebars. Yeah, well, I'm gonna grab in there like it's turf, buddy. So hang on, brace yourself.
Aggressive.
Don't get aggressive about much, but that's one. That's one thing. All right. We've been putting it off long enough.
Okay, I'm ready.
This is the nail in the coffin on Burger, man. This is why people fucking hate him so much.
I get it. Now, I was already liking him, and like the start of this episode, immediately I was like, ugh, what a bitch ass dude. What the fuck?
And it sucks because I obviously I know this happens, but in the beginning it does start so good because I love their bantery stuff.
It really does.
Like that's what I'm chasing. I was like, I want like a guy I can like joke and laugh. Well, we got inside jokes, we got whole things and bits and like the whole night. Like I want that. That's cool. I'm into that. But it does make me kind of be like, he could be a little bitch if he's into doing all that. So keep that in mind. Like it's a lesson. It's a warning flag. So let's just start out. Carrie has jury duty, and she's annoyed she's got to be there at 9 a.m. Joking that everybody's guilty before 10. Amen, sister. I hate jury duty. I got jury duty right after I got laid off last month, and I went ahead and postponed it. I was like, fuck this. I put it in like the work group chat. I was like, guys, I got jury duty. And one of the guys was like, just throw it out. I was like, Ryan, you can't just throw out a jury duty.
I mean, you can.
Everyone keeps saying you can, but can you?
Yes, you can. You get so they send you 3 notices. After the 3rd notice, if you don't
respond,
register or whatever, I mean, then you're in trouble. But you at least get you at least get 2. You get 3 summonses, and you have to answer the 3rd. So you can throw out the first one.
Well, I went ahead and punted it online down to next March. So hopefully
that's fine. You can also do that.
Yeah, I may punt it again so I can take my international trip. And I've been on a jury before too. So
really, okay,
yeah, it was for a To Catch a Predator type case where the cop was I'm a 10-year-old girl, and the guy was like, "Do I go to Taco Bell?" And it was.
You're arrested for that alone. You gonna take a 10-year-old Taco Bell? You piece of shit.
Yeah.
You take her somewhere nice if you're gonna do something bad to her. But Jesus, you gonna take a Taco Bell first and then do something bad to her? Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it was.
You definitely.
I'll tell the story real fast and we'll get into the meat of it, but this is funny, I promise. So this trial was like several years ago, like in the early 2010s. So like obviously like emojis as we know them now were like kind of a thing, but there was also still like the like text versions where you'd have like a colon and a parentheses for a happy face, like in text.
Mm-hmm.
So we were given like an example sheet of like what emojis are and like how to make like how you make them in like a chat room and over text. But then they had a neutral court reader come in to read the text and chat transcripts neutrally. So she does not put any inflection on anything. But that also meant she was reading things like, "Do you want to meet later?" ? I do. Good. Because I want to punish you, you little brat, colon parentheses. Instead of just saying happy face or happy face with sunglasses. So it would be like, I will see you later, the number 8, close parentheses. She just kept reading everything like that. And I was trying not to laugh because it just sounds weird. And she's reading it in this monotone voice because obviously she's supposed to be unbiased and it's just supposed to be like, a robot reading it. Where like if you or I read it, like obviously there'd be inflection and whatever, but it's like so unintentionally funny. And then we got to the whole like, is it entrapment? But then we ended up reading like more of the text than deliberation. It was like, oh no, this guy definitely was like didn't care and wanted to meet a 10-year-old at a Taco Bell. So bye. Have fun in jail, dick.
Yeah.
Sure. Anywho, so he's like, okay, well, she's like planning to like talk her way out of jury duty, and Berger says to her, oh, well, I'll meet you afterwards. I'm going to go to the store, look at computer stuff. And she goes, aren't you going to write today? And he takes great offense. He's like, what the fuck's that supposed to mean?
He just immediately goes into like defensive mode. He's just like, what the fuck? What does that mean? What?
And she's like,
asking you a question, asking about your day. Like,
just asking what you can do with your day. And he's like, basically like feels like he's being accused of slacking, and it's really awkward. And he's like, hey, do you want to do a Hollywood kiss? And it's apparently a thing they do, which we've never seen before, but it's a thing they do like when they're bickering. That's like to break the tension and kind of bring them back to zero. And it works. And he does do a good like swing, dip her on the stairs of the courthouse and give her a kiss. And then they're like, all right, things are back on a evenish keel. And then inside she tries to be like, I'm a freelance writer. I work for myself. I can't do jury duty. And they're like, fuck off. Go sit in the jury duty room.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good enough excuse. Sorry.
No. My mom was on a jury when I was a little kid, and like there wasn't like childcare for me and my brother. Like luckily my brother's older, but like there were definitely days where like we were home alone and she had to go to jury duty. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to come in with like your left arm in your right hand and be like, hey, I lost an arm. Can I get out of this? Can I go to the hospital? And then they might be like, yeah, we'll next month. We'll see you next month. Like,
yeah. Well, actually,
we'll see you next month.
During I always say it kind of wrong, but voir dire thing where they're like, they got you in the room and then they're dismissing jurors one by one, like for whatever reasons, each side is. And I was like, I was way in the back. I was like juror number like 28. So I was like, oh, sweet. Like I'm close, but I'm not going to get picked. I could get the fuck out of here. I totally got picked. It sucked. But during that section, this is all that same Catch a Predator case.
Yeah.
One of the like elimination questions was, does anyone have an issue with the age of consent being 18 in California? And 2 people raised their hands. One of them was a younger woman who was like, I think it should be higher. I've had terrible experiences, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, bye, dismissed. You're going to be biased. Yeah. The other was an older guy who literally, this is burned in my brain. This like happened like 10 years ago. It's burned in my brain. The guy was like, I don't think there should be an age of consent. Whether you're 5 or 15, if you're ready, you're ready. And you could hear the whole room be like, make that noise that you're making. Everyone was like, oh.
What? See, I wouldn't even answer that question. That question already sounds like a setup. Does anybody have a problem with the age of consent? I'm not answering. I'm shutting the fuck up. As a dude, I'm not saying a fucking word.
It was wild. And everybody, so like they're like, okay, cool. You are also dismissed. And like the lady next to me, we're like, they're gonna like clock that guy when he gets out of here, right? Like they're gonna be like, welcome to you thought you were gonna be on a jury. Right. No, you're about to be judged by a jury.
Yeah, like y'all pull him into an office and having a conversation with him, right? Like we're not gonna let that go.
Like yeah, like everybody. Okay. Even if he was exaggerating, maybe he was just saying
get out of jury duty, but like maybe he wasn't. You know what I mean?
Like you can't take that risk. Absolutely cannot take that risk.
Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Let's not take a risk. Let's ask a few questions. Let's get do a little background.
Let's do a little Googling.
Yeah. Do a little Googling. Maybe
can we take a look at your phone?
Get some phone records.
Yeah.
Yeah, get some phone records, man. Maybe some locations where he's been, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, see if there's some parks or schools, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I don't know.
Wild. It was fucking wild. I was, but yeah, even like, I feel like even the lawyers and like everyone who's supposed to be neutral is like, dude, go ahead, bailiff, you mind,
yeah, because he's not good for anybody. He's not good for either side, the prosecution or the defense. He's not good for anybody. Get him out of there.
Get him out
of
there.
He's a wild man. You don't know. He's very unpredictable. You don't know what the fuck.
Looney Tunes.
The fact that he has the balls to say, "I don't believe there should be an age of consent." Get him out of here. He's loose cannon. Loose cannon.
Cannot work with that.
Can't work with that.
So Carrie is watching like the jury duty video, which has Diane Sawyer, which I think is hilarious because I feel like I've been summoned another time, but I wasn't put on a jury. But they definitely have like celebrities like pop in like from either like news or like legal shows or whatever. They're like, hey, being on a jury is pretty cool. And I think the Los Angeles one here has been like, even celebrities get called up. I've been called up for jury duty too. Like I can't remember who it was in the video though, but it's hilarious. It's like there's no way on God's green earth any famous like recognizably famous person has ever sat on a jury talk about being like tilting the scale one way or the other. Like
it really couldn't, because this is like the influence that they could have in a jury room. Like they may have to go in, but they're geting cut. There's no. You think Chris Evans is going to sit in on a jury?
I agree with Captain America. Not guilty. Oh no, Chris Evans let a murderer off.
Yeah.
Chris Evans didn't listen to all the evidence, and now there's a murderer walking free. Oh no.
No way, it wouldn't.
No way. But anyway, Carrie is stuck there and notices a guy sitting next to her with a briefcase, and he opens it and he pulls out a mango. And he just kind of holds it. And it's super weird. So she's telling Berger all about it at dinner that night, and he's like, oh no, the weirdest thing a guy could pull out would be a pineapple. And they sit down, and that's when Charlotte drops in with her, the fake emergency request and everything like that. So she joins Berger and Carrie. This is just where things start to take such a horrible turn.
Yeah.
And so Charlotte complains, her date is dull, and she's like, I knew it was going to be terrible because he brought me carnations. And Berger's like, what do you mean he brought you flowers? What's the big deal? She's like, oh, they're filler flowers. And he's like,
yeah, I didn't know that though.
I didn't either. Well, I feel like carnations.
I would just like roses, like pink roses or red roses are always going to be a good go-to.
I'm like I'm kind of slightly on Berger's side. Like flowers definitely have like meanings and there's like qualities and stuff like that. But if someone brings you flowers, it's just nice. Like, who fucking cares? Yeah. So, my college boyfriend brought me like roses. I don't even like roses that much, but I was still like, oh my gosh, no one's ever brought me flowers before. Okay, thank you. Yeah, of course. I like even tried to save one. Like, it was a very sweet thing. He turned out to be a little bitch too, but it was a really nice gesture.
So Carrie and
Carrie's like, well, I like carnations.
Yeah.
But if he was wearing Docksiders or Topsiders, some kind of shoe, she's like, then I would think the date's gonna be bright. And Charlotte's like, no. And Berger's all like, dudes are just fucked, right?
I mean, a little bit. Like, there's always a little bit, because there's always something the girl can find wrong with you if she wants to find it wrong.
If they want to, if you're gonna be really weird and picky about like oh, he didn't do X, Y, or Z, or he wore this, or da da da. Although I will say it was not a deal breaker, but I did go on a date off of like a dating app, and I came from, had been off of work for the evening, but I went ahead and put on like a nicer shirt and tried a little, and dude showed up in just a hoodie, and I was like,
yeah, that's
buddy. I was like,
yeah.
it's a strike a little. And then he wouldn't stop talking about drones, and I got really bored, and then that was a problem too. So that I was a little pissy about the hoodie thing though, but I was like, come on. So he's like, dudes are just fucked. And Charlotte's like, well, that stuff doesn't matter if it's the right guy. And she's like, Harry was like bald and, talked with his mouth full and was like kind of uncouth and whatnot. But she's like, but I loved him. And he's like, because he didn't bring you filler flowers. And Charlotte's like, no, it's because I loved him. And Carrie's like, don't talk to her like that. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's just, I was trying to make a joke. And she's like, well, it wasn't funny. He's like,
And he
great.
honestly was. Yeah.
Yeah, he was just kind of
Like,
teasing.
Yeah. Trying to, like,
gently. But then he's like, great, I'm not funny. I'm a slacker. If I had the wrong shoes, I wouldn't even be here. And it's super awkward. Luckily, the waiter comes by and they order food. And Carrie does what I think is one of the worst things she's ever done. Is she's like, orders her food. And she's like, can I request no parsley on anything? I'm deathly allergic. And if it's even like in the marinade, blah, blah, blah. And then the waiter's like, let me go ask, and leaves. And Burger's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're not even allergic to parsley. She's like, no, but I hate it. And even if I just ask for it, it's still on stuff. It comes with everything. And they're bickering about the fucking parsley. And Charlotte's like, I need to go.
I'm not mad at that because honestly, saying you're allergic is kind of like
the worst.
Like a politer way. And like I don't like it. You know what I mean? Because at least, because my thing is like, if you really don't want it, if you tell somebody that you're allergic to it and they put it on there anyway, then it's like, well, you're kind of the dick. You're gonna kill me.
Yeah, but it's hard now too though, because a lot of people do lie about that, and the like allergy protocols in kitchens are much stricter and better for people who do have like the peanut and the gluten allergies that can be really bad.
Yeah.
But that requires like a lot of work for the kitchen, where if it's just something you don't like I hate raw.
I mean, if it's in a sauce, you can't pull parsley out of a sauce.
Yeah.
Like, you can pull parsley out of a salad, you can pull it off of a burger or a sandwich or something like that. But
and
if
it's extra. And he's like, why? He's like, why don't you just like ask for it without? And she's like, because it comes with it, and then I send it back, and I feel bad. It's like, well, maybe you feel bad that like you're gonna make a kitchen potentially like have to scrub down and sanitize and like separate all this stuff just so you don't have to have parsley. Like, I hate raw tomato a lot. Like, I'll have like, I like ketchup and tomato sauce, all that stuff. But I hate like the raw texture of tomato. So I'll either like not order a salad that it's not in or request it without. If it comes with that, we'll go ahead and like send it back. Or if it's on a sandwich, it comes with it. Sometimes I'll just pick out, I really hate it, but I make it work. And I know it's childish and stupid, but I've never ever lied about being allergic to tomatoes.
That's fine. I
think it's a bridge too far.
It may be. I think it's true. But I'm also on board with just saying you're allergic.
No.
I'm also on board with it. Yeah, because they know for sure it ain't coming. You know for sure it ain't coming. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, for sure. Be like, hey, I could die if I eat this. So, if you want to kill me, go ahead and put it on there. That's all I'm saying.
Don't do that.
I've never done it. I'm just saying I'm okay with it.
Not a cool. It's not a good look.
Yeah, so they go out. They
go home. Like, yeah, poor Charlotte is like, I have to go. This is so awkward.
Dude, that's the worst too. Like, we were talking, because remember in the last episode we were talking about being like, fifth wheel, third wheel, shit like that. It's the worst when a couple is like fighting and you're the third wheel. It's like, dude, like y'all couldn't keep this at home. Y'all couldn't wait till y'all got to the car. Like, y'all had to do it right here in front of me. Like, disrespect. Like, there's no way your life is so important that you couldn't just like, hey, we'll talk about this when we get home and let's have a good car and put on a nice face for the company. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that shit too. Like, if it's like a couple throwing like a a dinner party or something like that, don't fucking argue in front of us. Like, we don't need to be a part of you guys' argument. Wait till we fucking leave and then y'all can have it out. If it's that important to you, write the shit down and then talk about it later. We don't Don't involve us. It's fucking
No.
awkward for everybody.
It's so
And then you're gonna be wondering, like, oh, why didn't so and so come around anymore? Why don't they come over anymore? Because you fucking argue all the time in front of us.
It's
Nobody
weird.
wants to be part of that.
Nobody.
Fucking selfish, bro.
So like they're on the cab ride home, and he says they're stopped, and she's like, hey, can you actually do like X, Y, and like go around the block? And he's like, I can't believe you put me down in front of your friends. Like, it's just like they're so off track today. It's horrible. Like they're so pissy with each other. And then she's like, what is going on with us? And he's like, when did you stop being on my side? And she's like, when did you stop being on my side? And she's like, this isn't working. And he's like, yeah, we need to take a break. Which is bad.
Yeah, it's like, first of all, y'all ain't been dating long enough to like have to need a break. I'm saying, like, you guys are like barely 3 or 4 months in, and you're always talking about like taking a break. Just break up. There's no point to taking a break at that point. You're and that's the thing too. And I know that from experience, because the last relationship I was in, I was the one that suggested a break
because you wanted to break up.
Yes, I did. That's the thing. I did. But like, also, I was like, well, because I was like, kind of conflicted. I was like, I still have feelings for this person. I still kind of want to be with them. And like, maybe if we take a break, because he does say like maybe some distance will help us kind of get closer. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, maybe if we take a little separation, maybe we're like too deep into this thing. Like maybe we're not seeing the outside picture or like the big picture. But like, ultimately, we did end up breaking up. But I didn't do it the way he fucking did it.
Yeah.
And I didn't even break up with her, by the way. She broke up with me. And it was like several months later. So we're good.
Okay, yeah, no, this is like, he's like, let's take a week. And he's gonna go to his Hamptons house, and she's like, are we supposed to decide like right now? And apparently, because he's not even gonna come up to her apartment. He just gets her dropped off and keeps it moving. So she's at brunch and she's explaining it. She's like, I knew we had problems, but like, I didn't think it was that bad. Charlotte's like, maybe it's good to cool off, because maybe you would say that way you won't say things you'll regret, like I did, and now I'm on blind dates again. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, she's not wrong, because you definitely could have, like, in a heat of a moment, because they were definitely in their feelings about that, especially burgers. So you definitely could have said something that would have fucked it up.
And Samantha basically is like, fix your face, and she's like, do you want your relationship to make you make this face? And she makes like this kind of happy, like smiley, like calm face, or like a frowny face. And Carrie's like, it's complicated. And Miranda rightfully says, like, how about you take this time to think about what you want out of this? Like, it's just also good advice. 100% good advice, because like Carrie is,
you're fighting so hard to try to keep this relationship together, but it's like, is it really what you want, or is it just like what you think you're supposed to do? Because of how it started out, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, it's supposed to work. We started out so good. Why isn't this working? We have to make it work. Like, no, not necessarily.
Yeah, because and like all her conversations all focused on like what she can do for Burger, and Miranda calls it as like, what's he gonna do for you, in a way? Like, you gotta think about what you want out of it. And then she's out shopping.
By the way, all relationships start out good, by the way, people. Like, or most of them. If it starts out bad, it usually doesn't go any further. But most relationships start out pretty damn good. So, like, if that's the thing that you're trying to use to hold on to the relationship, don't do that. Yeah. The first 3 months, you can't even count that as a real relationship, because that always starts out. It's like, it's about everybody's motherfucking honeymoon phase. It's about 3 months. So, anyway.
Yeah, because really they were going good until Burger's career kind of started to wobble, and now she's seeing all this side of him come out, and it's like kind of better that it happened now versus like years in.
Well, there were some red flags even before that too. I mean, So
wait, like what? Am I dumb? Oh man, I'm gonna date a Burger, aren't I?
No, remember how he like responded to the ex?
Oh yeah, the ex and stuff. Yeah, that's true. Good call.
A lot of red flags even before they even started dating, like in the Hamptons.
The biggest red flag is he didn't bring up the girlfriend. They were having like an amazing, as she called it, like an amazing first date that's not a date, and then he finally says, "Oh, I'm gonna go meet my girlfriend."
Right.
Which like he should have said way earlier.
Red flag. Red flag.
Red flag. So Carrie's out shopping, and whom should she get a call from? But everyone's favorite character on this podcast.
Fucking big.
Fucking big.
And it's still, and the thing about it is too, like, I know that she's going through something with burgers like that, but at the same token, she's still being a little bit disrespectful because, like, that phone call, their whole relationship is just flirty. Like,
she should look at that fucking phone, see who it is, and not answer it.
Yeah, especially if you're in a relationship, I can understand if she was single and like, hey, you know what I'm saying, like, wanted some free dick, like, I get it, you know what I'm saying, but like, you're in a whole relationship and you know that you and his relationship is not a friendship, no matter how much you try to put on it. It's always this like flirtiness between them, you know what I mean? Him being like clever and her just being like, oh my god, you're so clever.
Marry me for your money. So he's golfing and he asks how things are. And she's like, why are you asking? He's like, friends ask how friends are, don't they? Because she keeps saying, she's like, I think that's what she kind of said to him the last time they talked on the phone, was like, it's just friends. Friends will ask how they're doing. And then she explains the situation. And he's like, how could anyone need a break from you? And she's like, somebody moved 3,000 miles away. So you tell me. Which is a pretty solid dig.
Like, how you even saying that? How's he even saying this? Like, dude, you dated her. Shut the fuck up.
You dated her for like 2 years off and on, bro. And you guys took your, you didn't call them breaks, but you took your share of breaks, you know, like, come on. But she's like, no, it's a good thing. And he's like, Carrie, you're breaking up. And she's like, no, we're not. And he's like, no, I'm at your cell phone. Calm down. So then this cracks me up. I love she decides to rent a car to go drive out to see Burger, and then like 2 inches out of the garage she stops and is like, never mind. She's been like
the right move because she just showed up because I'm thinking that to put that in my perspective too, like, if when I went on a break, if the person that I was on a break with, she just like showed up at my place without giving me the space, I just would have probably broken up with her.
Yeah, you've been like, you know what? I said no. You don't like, listen to me. You know,
you're not respecting me. You're not giving me what I need. You're clearly only thinking about yourself. So we're done here. So she actually, I'm gonna give her points again because she actually did the right thing by taking the car back. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go. Yeah, that's smart.
And she's talking to Miranda, who's giving her more good advice. She's like, look, I like Burger, and you did try. You tried in this relationship. You did the right things. You know, and Carrie's kind of, she's like, he can be so threatened and insecure and he shuts down. She's like, but then like there's these good moments, and she explains the Hollywood kiss thing, and Miranda's like, you guys need a bit though to like break your tension. Like, that's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign if you need a bit. If it was like, if the bit didn't start out of a necessity, if it was just like something that cute that he always did, it would be fine. But I'm with Miranda. Like, if that's like something he did is like as a reactionary to like their bad times, that's not a good look, my friend.
Yeah, because like having a bit with somebody is really fun if it's just like a fun bit that you guys do like together as a couple, and like maybe you do deploy it like when you need to, but you're right. It shouldn't start as like, how do I break the tension without addressing the actual issue? That's the whole point.
Right. It should be a flower that. Yeah, it should be a flower that blossomed out of shit. That's basically what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Because if you're bickering, you should probably figure out why you're actually bickering and not just like.
Right. Also, exactly. Yeah. Instead of just being like, oh, let's just do this and like, you know what I mean? Like, no, we got to figure out why we're going at each other right now. That's the bit. Figure the shit out. That's the bit.
And Carrie kind of decides, she's like, we should probably break up if he ever comes back. But then then she goes back to jury duty for her final day, and the guy with the briefcase pulls out a coconut. And she's like, there's only one person who would understand this, and that's kind of when she decides to not break up with Burger. She's like, no, I like, maybe we'll see how it goes. And that night he shows up at her apartment with carnations, which she said she liked, the pink carnations. And he's like, I love you. I want to try and make this work. And they hug it out. And she tells about the coconut and everything. And it's a really nice moment. And then the next morning, she wakes up, bed's empty. There's no sign of him. She looks around, and then she finds the Post-it that says, "I'm sorry, I can't, don't hate me."
First of all, that's a fucking girl breakup move, you piece of shit. Only
Break up with
girls
her
do
like a
that shit.
man.
Like a fucking man. I posted up, ooh, don't hate me. Like, don't hate me is a very, like, that's the worst. Don't say that to me. Don't say that to me. Because now I hate you. And now I hate you.
Yeah.
I hate you because you don't want me to hate you. Now I fucking hate you. And I'm mad that I hate you because hate and love are very close together in the brain, which means that you can still affect me. And I hate the fact that you can affect me. You fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, I hated it. Yeah. Because also, too, like, look, in some ways, does Carrie deserve a breakup like this? Yes. If we're going to be... If we're going to be honest, Elizabeth, does she deserve
karma, baby?
I mean,
karma.
It's kind of been a long time coming. You know what I'm saying? She ain't really paid her dues for like the shit that she did to Aiden. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, this is karmic payback.
A little bit of karma. It's a little bit of that karma. You know what I'm saying? I'm just mad at the fact that like, what was the whole point? Like, he knew he was gonna break up with her before he even got to her. Before he came back down from the Hamptons. You know what I'm saying? And like low key too, I'm not because like I don't know if it's implied or if they did, but it seems like they like maybe had slept together.
Yeah,
and then
I think it's implied they did. That's shitty as
like
fuck
that's
to
shitty.
do that.
That's shitty. That's shitty. That's like making her think. She's like, well, if the sex could have been better, maybe he was like, that's just don't do that.
Yeah.
That's like that part.
That's the nail on the coffin. That's really fucked. Like you said, that's so fucked up. If he only came back to like have sex with her one last time, like
it seems like it.
It seems like that's what happened.
Like, let me go one more time. Yeah, he's like, let me go ahead and get in there one more time, and then I might. Which is even because this is the thing too.
Worse.
What makes it worse is it's not the fact that he slept with her and then broke up with her. That's fine. Here's what. It's how he broke up with her.
Yeah.
If he was a man about it the next morning, was like, you know what, I thought about it overnight, or at least wait a couple of days. Like, don't. You know what I mean? Like, Peter waited a couple of days. You know, like Peter woke up the next day and was like, oh, I'll see you later, and like maybe called her that night or something like that, or a couple of days later and broke up with her. Cool. It would have been all right, but like the fact that you slept with her and then left a post-it note like a fucking coward, go fuck yourself, dude.
Yeah.
I understand why this dude is low on the totem pole as far as her.
Very low in the boyfriend rankings. Possibly bottom.
Again, deserve a breakup like this? Yes, but like I didn't like it. She definitely deserved it, though. I'm not gonna lie, she did deserve it. Like,
but maybe not in this situation.
Okay, right,
or maybe not from this person. Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Right breakup, right kind of breakup that she needed to have happen to her, but the wrong kind of dude because he just wasn't good enough to like pull that on her, man.
Yeah. No, now he's gonna go
taking this kind of breakup from big over than this dude.
Yeah. No, now he's gonna go mope. Probably write another book with a stupid scrunchy reference or something, or probably a hat this time. It's probably gonna be all about a stupid hat because he's gonna.
Oh, he's gonna have you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna do the savage move. He's gonna write about their relationship and turn that shit into a story.
Turn that into a novel.
Man. Yeah, let's go fuck her.
I will. We never see him again. Just FYI for the record.
I figured.
But I think in the real world, there's like a New Yorker short story that comes out that she reads that goes, "Wait, is this about me? What the fuck?"
Oh yeah. Like
short story at minimum, possibly a character in like one of his novels where, you read it and you're like, wait, what? Awful.
Well, to be fair too, again, like I'm not sad to see him go. I'm kind of ready for like the last few episodes. He just wasn't a character that I wanted to see anymore. Like they had the whole witty banter, like clever and stuff like that, but he was just a bitch, bro.
Yeah, he like it's hard because he starts kind of somewhat winning in a way, but like you said, there are little red flags and stuff like that, and it's a little shaky. But when it's good, it's good. Like you're like, God, they are cute together. They're fun. They're clearly having a good time. But like the slightest like little things make him kind of fucking wig out in weird ways, and then he's very unpleasant, and then you're like, actually I don't want to hang out with him or be around him, and that's
no, he just acted like a man the entire time. I'd have been like, all right, cool, but he was acting like a little spoiled little kid. Things aren't going my way. I don't like it. That was basically his whole character arc for the last like 3-4 episodes. So bye, Burger, we're good.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
The only thing I liked about the conversation with Big is when he called him hot dog. It was kind of funny.
That was funny. Yeah, that was funny. You know, it was like, because it was like an obvious he was trying to, it's like, what's the opposite of a burger at a grill? Oh, the hot dog. He was obvious. Ooh, hot dog. Good. Yeah, that was obvious.
So funny.
Trying to be a little goober about it. I feel you.
So that's
tell the people where they can find it.
Yeah, you can leave us post-it notes. Don't do that. And Show Me What Podcast on Instagram. And that'll take you to our Twitter, our Facebook, our YouTube. Reminder to please kindly hit the like button at minimum. Woo-hoo! Leave a comment if you like. Leave us a post-it note comment of, have you had a bad breakup like this? Has anyone broken up with you in a really awful way? Let us know.
Or a post-it note.
A post-it note. A lame text. A phone call, perhaps.
I was the modern post.
Yeah, my college boyfriend dumped me over a phone call.
Nice. Well, a phone call,
like I said, little bitch.
It's decent. It's a bitch move, but it's still decent. He didn't do it to do a text or a voicemail.
We lived far enough, like an hour away from each other, and it was over the summer, and so I was like, it's kind of a bummer it happened over the phone, but I was like, well, God knows I don't want to drive an hour to receive that news and then have to leave. And in fairness, he probably doesn't want to. Who wants to drive an hour to deliver that news? So
correct.
It's okay. But you can hear more fun stories from me on my social media at Elizabeth Movies on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And Chris, where can they find you on those things?
You can find me at all the socials at Christopher T. Mack on all the socials.
And don't buy Post-its, buy Arlo Australia candles instead, and use promo code ShowMeThis for 10% off. Enjoy this candle season. Perhaps light your Post-it notes on fire with a candle from Arlo Australia. Don't do that either. That's a bad idea.
Write the breakup Post-it note, burn it, and then go and have the conversation like a fucking adult. That's what you should do. Light the Post-it note, use it to light the candle, and then go have the conversation.
And that's it from us this week, and we will see you again next week.